Alright lads, another week, which means another round of raid-ups for our Grand Servant campaign over here on the JP side of things. If you're unaware of what's going on, basically every week they're bringing out every single character from a class, or if it's a main class, they split it into 2 weeks, because, you know, Sabers have a lot of characters, Castles have a lot of characters, so they split those ones up. But for our Grand Servant campaign, they are bringing back every character that came out pre-2025, and Foreigners is a pretty big one, because a lot of these characters are actually pretty decent to not just being really good. You know, they're either decent characters or really strong characters. I know the one we're looking at right now isn't super crazy, but it's my job to make sure that we go over all of these, so as an NA player, you can plan out which characters are worth going for after rounds of buffs or in the current meta, or if you're on JP, if those characters are worth going for. Now, starting off, we have the Abigail banner. This one, I think you can just pretty easily skip. I don't think Abigail is like that crazy of a character. I mean, if you like the pancakes meme, she's a decent enough character, I suppose, if you're also going for MHXX over here, but I don't really think this one is all that worth going for, considering some of the absolute monsters we have also going up on Raid Up. And MHXX should feature on some other banners as well, because there's not a whole lot of 4-star foreigner characters. Most of these guys are going to be 5, so you could pretty comfortably skip out on this one, unless, again, you're just a big fan of the pancake memes. Hokusai, I think, is also kind of worth skipping out on. I know she's a fan favorite. People are like, but she's got the really strong man attribute power mod. And yeah, you can use this character as an arts looper. You can get away with that. But again, even with MHXX Alter being on Raid Up, which does make her a little tempting for me in particular, because I am trying to get this character NP5'd, I don't think the Hokusai banner is the one you want to be going on, because, again, there's absolute monsters on these various Raid Ups. But if you are somebody that is a huge fan of Hokusai, or, I don't know, maybe you're just one of those guys, you're trying to collect all, like, the Cthulhu Mythos characters, you're trying to get every single great old one, every single outer deity, she's not the worst character. Again, that man power mod does really help her out a lot, but outside of having the man attribute power mod, she's really not doing a whole lot of damage. So, I really wouldn't consider going for this one personally, but could be a worse rated to go for, right? Like, you could do worse, I suppose. Now we start moving into some of the good characters, right? Like, now we start moving into some of the ones that are actually worth going for. Yang is pretty good still over here on the JP side of things. She's still a character that I will break out to go into various CQs for, and that is because she was built older as a modern servant, if that makes sense. This whole style of gameplay where you want to stack debuffs on the enemy to deal damage is now something that's turning out to be pretty good. So Yang wanting to be one of these characters that just applies 750 billion stacks of burn on the enemy to do big damage is actually turning out to be something really nice, because functionally, as long as the enemy can be debuffed, as long as they can be burned, Yang is going to get in there and do some massive damage. And this one also features MHXX, so even if you don't walk away with Yang, you can still walk away with MHXX, who is capable of doing some really massive damage. Again, I do think MHXX has fallen off a little bit just because of her kit, because all of her buffs are like 1-turn buffs, so she drops like one really big turn of massive damage and then doesn't really do anything outside of that afterwards. But not a bad consolation prize if you are going for Yang, and also not a bad banner to go on if you also have Honey Lake. If you're unaware, Honey Lake is a CE that also gives you a power mod in addition to what she already has for, you know, burned enemies, right? So not just really good for Yang, but any servant that does have burn on their kit, it's just really good to give them a free power mod. This one ain't bad. Like, not a bad one to go on. Like, this is one that I would consider myself if I didn't already have Yang on my JP account. Then we have Voyager over here. Now, if you're looking for a good, quick AoE character, Voyager's in a pretty good spot. He's gotten, like, what, 2 buffs, I believe, so far? And those buffs have been really, really massive for him, increasing his damage and his looping capabilities. He's just kind of higher up there when you're considering quick AoE characters if you want a quick looper. Unfortunately, considering quick AoE characters is a little, I guess not well positioned is the nice way to say it, because Arts is just the better version of quick loopers right now. I mean, sure, you can do like a lot of fun like Black Grail farming with like the triple Scotty setup, but you could also do that with, say, like a double Castoria Oberon setup, and that's just going to be a bit better. But again, if you want to have yourself a quick looper because you just want to have different characters for each type, you want to have characters in your box that are well positioned for a myriad of different content, because again, sometimes we go up against bosses that are like, oh, we have a Buster and Arts resistance, you know, they really want you to use a quick character for that battle, and you just want to be prepared for something like that, then by all means you can go summon for Voyager. He is not bad. And again, featuring characters like MHX and MHXX Alter on all of these banners is very, very strong, as both of them are quite good, although I would say that I do like X Alter a little bit more. You know, go figure, the character that is like 6 years older than the other one would be a little bit better. Their kit would be a bit more balanced. You know, go figure that would be a thing. But this is not bad. You could skip out on this one. There's really nothing to be said about Summer Abigail over here. She's, I mean, what am I supposed to say about this one? Am I supposed to like paint her in kind of a positive light? I mean, she can do a lot of damage when she has the defense down. Like, that certainly helps her out a lot. You could summon for her hoping that she's going to get an Iskandar style buff someday, that they're really going to be like, all right, we're really going to help this one out. We're going to give her an absolute humdinger of a buff. We're really going to make this character good. But with the amount of really strong characters, I mean, even with the next one coming up on Raid Up, I don't think you should be summoning for copium that they're going to make a character good. I think you should just be summoning for characters that are already good and that could get even better buffs in the future. Like Van Gogh. Van Gogh is already ridiculously good. If you're going to summon for any of these foreigners, Van Gogh is a perfect partner for any of them, just for her NP alone. Even if you just don't understand how her gameplay works, even though I've done like 1 or 2 videos on Van Gogh, you can check those out by searching that up on the channel. But even if it's just for her NP alone, I think that's already kind of defensible as far as like a reason to pull for a character, because her NP with foreigners, ridiculous, right? Like 200% crit damage, big stars every single turn. What more could you want? Like, literally, what more could you want from a character? But then if you want to go that extra step and actually, you know, do a little bit of reading on her kit, then she just becomes dummy nutty broken, right? Just the fact that like all the support, all the extra damage she is giving to everybody on her 3 skills, we don't have enough time to really go into everything that this character does, but they're really nutty. Like, if you just go onto your YouTube browser, you type in Van Gogh setup FGO, you will find some absolutely ludicrous things that you can do with her off rip, but especially with your foreigner allies. She is really, really insane. And technically, she is a generic support for the foreigners. I know she does technically give a quick buff, right? So people are like, well, she's a quick support. It's like, no. Everything else she's doing, though, can be seen as generic support, because everybody likes attack, everybody likes defense down, everybody likes crit damage. It's just the quick buff that's the only thing that's really specific. So this character, don't have enough time because we don't want to be here for like 30 minutes, is just really, really strong. Like, she's really ridiculously insane. And I've already said this, but the banner units that we have for foreigners are really, really good. The fact is, you have a shot at either MHX or MHXX, or I guess XX or XX Alter, I guess I should say correctly. And so those being on every single banner do also make these banners really, really good. The fact that she's walking away with XX Alter on her banner, I think is a big W for her. Then we have Jacques de Molay, who I did actually talk about a couple of days ago on the channel, because she's on Raid Up right now on the NA side of things. Not a bad character, focuses on Curse Power mod, which is really strong. As long as the enemy can be cursed, she's going to be doing extra damage. And with all the command codes and stuff that we have that you can use to put curse on enemies, even if you don't have the skill available, you can just smack an enemy with a face card, bada boom, bada bing, you have automatic power mod on them. You know, smack them with the face card before doing the NP, you got good damage. But realistically, outside of that, that is the main thing she is well positioned to do. She's going to be one of your quick loopers. She can do really good damage. If you want to summon for her over Voyager because you're like, I want to use the sussy French woman, then by all means, you know, I'm not going to stop you on that one. Realistically, like, I think that's defensible enough. If you want to go for her over Voyager, it's fine in my opinion. But realistically, just a quick AoE looper. Because we have other characters that do a little bit more, like Koyan Dark over here that I do want to talk about, because this is a character that my opinion has changed drastically on. Now, I know some people have thoughts about Koyan Dark as a DPS, and yes, Kukulkan's banner is right here. So if you're going for a DPS foreigner, you just go for Kukulkan. There's no world where you go for Koyan Dark over Kukulkan as a DPS, as a Buster Looper. No reason to go for that reason. But if you want to use her in like a multi-core sense, then this is where I think this character gets interesting, because sure, Kukulkan does have some multi-core applicability. You know, she can target and give people a 50% battery. She can give the attack buff to the entire party, but that's really it. Koyan Dark gives the Buster buff and 30% battery to the entire party, which you may be saying, well, ZTL's at 50% more? That's 50% for one person on Kukulkan. This is 30% for the entire party. That just ends up being better for multi-core purposes because it makes your team comps a bit more flexible, but it's the second skill. The second skill, giving 2 stages of overcharge, is really nutty if you're going to be using characters like Ace the Savior specifically. And as a huge fan of Morgan, this character is ridiculously good for those setups, especially if you do not have your own Koyanskaya of Light, which, hey, we have about like 2 weeks before that banner drops with this Grand Class, you know, infinite rate up we have over here on JP. So my opinion might change a little bit, but if you don't have yourself a Koyan Light, Koyan Dark makes a great substitute in some of these Buster team comps. She actually also works really well with Kukulkan over here. Now, I would say I would prioritize Kukulkan over here. These guys literally have the same kit, it's just Cuckoo's is better. Koyan Dark has Earth Power Mod, Cuckoo has that plus Threat Against Humanity. Koyan Dark doesn't have any survivability. Cuckoo over here has Solemn Defense, because she could turn her invincibility buffs into Solemn Defense. For Buster farming, she has a 50% battery, Koyan Dark only has a 30. And then, you know, pretty much, I guess the restriction that Cuckoo has is, oh, well, you need stars to make sure that she does really big damage, but functionally, you only need 20 stars for the first and third skill to be at their full power, because the second skill is not an offensive one. And would you look at that, Koyan Light gives you 20 stars on her own second skill. So her big damage is always live all the time, 100%. And even if it wasn't, you have to do a solo with Cuckoo for some reason, she bombs 30 stars on her NP in like 10 every single turn. So you've always got stars in rotation. This is the thing I'm getting at. Like, she's ridiculously broken. But if you have some weird multi-core things you want to do, this character's not bad to consider, but it really is kind of like a cope character, right? Like, I only particularly have a high opinion of her because she makes my Ace the Savior really, really good. If I didn't have Ace the Savior and wasn't doing those setups, I might not be as high on her. Then you know, I'd just tell everybody to roll for Kukulkan. But I want to give her some credit. I want to give her a little bit. I'm trying to be nice, you know, I'm trying to help her out a little bit. And I guess I'll have to take the baton from the previous Koyan Dark coper, right? I will take the baton from them, and now I'm the one coping for the Koyan Dark buff, because, hey, that would make my Ace the Savior team setups a little bit better, right? And I want to make my Morgan as strong as possible. But realistically, yeah, you should just be going for Koyan Dark, or not Koyan Dark, but Kukulkan over here. See, even the cope is coming back through me. It's having me say, you should just go for Koyan Dark, right? Like, the copium is coming out, but Cuckoo is ridiculous. I don't think we really need to tell everybody that this character is absolutely bonkers. Wangen is a character that I think kind of goes under everybody's radar because she comes out right after, you know, we have Lilim Harlot, we have the Morgan 3, the Summer Morgan drop for Anniversary, who's really strong. Then we have Summer, and Wangen is a character that features kind of towards the end of the Summer event and then comes out right after for Wangen's World Tour. She's really strong. She's a very, very powerful, quick DPS character. I just think she comes out at a very unfortunate time where nobody has Saint Chords, right? Like, this character reads absolutely bonkers. Like, they read absolutely broken. It's just, who's got the Saint Chords, right? Especially if you're going to be on the NA side of things. This character also comes out right before Yusugi Kenshin or Ruler Kagetora. That character is bonkers. That character is busted out of their mind, and so it's like just unfortunately positioned. But if you want to go for her, she is very, very strong. I mean, just Bible chapters of effects on all of her skills, but she is very, very good. I did do a video on her when she initially came out, and after reviewing it, I do think everything I said in that video does still hold up to this day. I will obviously be revisiting this character whenever she comes out on NA with a nice little video for her. So she is very strong. She's very, very good. If you're looking for a quick DPS, she is definitely someone that can fill that role. But if you've already got somebody like Bisquion, if you've already got somebody like New Dante's, if you already have Yang, then you... Well, no, Yang is arts, but you get what I'm saying. Sorry, it's like 8 in the morning. I just woke up for this, so sorry. I'm getting my screws loose a little bit. But yeah, if you already have a quick DPS, you don't need to summon for her. But she is really, really strong if you are lacking in that. And MHXX Alter is not a bad consolation prize. And finally, the one banner that's going to tempt me. I was really hoping XX Alter and Aoko would be on the same banner, because I still have yet to pull Aoko, right? I keep whiffing on this character, and it's ticking me off, man, because Aoko is really, really strong. She's a bit of a weird character to use, because you get 2 characters for the price of 1, right? Where you have, like, base Aoko that's waiting to transform into Super Aoko, where you're just, like, dropping bombs on everybody. You're just revealing the truths of magic on everybody, blowing them up, and then just critting everybody for billions and billions of damage. To prove that I believe this character is really good, I'm going to be doing a summoning live right now. You know, I know this is supposed to be a review of all the different banners, but I gotta try, alright? I gotta try. I'm not gonna keep getting shafted on this banner, but this character does so much. And, like, I'm not ashamed to admit, they do so much that I don't remember all of their effects. Because they've got, like, battery here, then they've got, like, they transform, and then it's a super battery, and then they're generating stars over here, then they're getting crit damage on this, and then they're piercing that, they're stacking the bullets to make her damage stronger. Like, she just does so much. Like, which doesn't necessarily mean she's good, but it just so happens that all the things that she's doing are good. You know, that's kind of the problem, is that, well, just because you could do a lot, you could have a whole bunch of different buffs. You could be like, oh, I heal, and then I debuff cleanse, and then I, like, debuff, and all this stuff. It's like, okay, but none of that is particularly broken. But then, when you're stacking in, like, batteries, crits, stacking damage, you know, you're giving yourself card buffs, attack buffs, just everything out of every single orifice, then it's like, okay, well, if you're doing too much, and all of the stuff you're doing are really strong buffs, then you might be a little nutty. Alright, I don't foresee this going super well for us, unfortunately. Yeah. I think we've already expunged all of our good luck on NA getting, like, what, 2 copies of Draco and, like, 2 multis plus a single, and then, getting Tiamat and, like, 2 multis, so we might have expunged our luck a little bit, but hey, we got a 5-star CE, but hopefully there's a little bit of proof that this character is bonkers. This character is really, really good. I think they're super, super strong. I would keep summoning, but I really want Koyan Light over here on the JP side of things, and I'm trying to stay over 300 Sancors for that. But yep, this is all the 400 banners. Let me know who you're going to be rolling on in the comment section down below if you're on the JP side of things, or who you are going to be incorporating into your summoning plans if you're an NA player. But with that being said, I'm going to go and get out of here. I will catch you guys later today for the live stream, which is going to start at about like 6 p.m. Central Time. That's my live stream. I'm just playing FGO. I don't want to have anybody thinking that there's like an FGO live stream. It's just me, just my live stream, not like some official live stream or anything. But you know, at least not yet. I'm not a part of not the Lightworks, but Lasangle, not yet. We'll see. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, late guys.